You've double-tapped their photos. You've saved their thirst traps. But how much do you really know about the hottest gay stars heating up your timeline right now? In a world where queer beauty comes in all shades of bold, these 5 aren't just sexy. They're powerful, visible, and completely unforgettable. From rising indie heartthrobs to fashion-forward icons, each one brings a different kind of fantasy to life. And trust us, it's not just the abs. Before we dive in, where are you watching from? Drop your country or city in the comments so we can see where our queer fam is tuning in from. Whether you're here to swoon, get inspired, or just stare a little too long, this list is gonna hit hard. Let's count down the top 5 gay stars you're secretly, or not so secretly, crushing on right now. And number 3? He might just be your new obsession. Brock Yurich, the indie thirst trap, who's queer, cut, and completely unapologetic. You know the type. Gym body, sharp jawline, moody eyes that could break a camera lens, but also somehow make you feel seen. That's Brock Yurich, the kind of guy who's all over your Explore feed, and once you tap on his profile, there's no going back. But beyond the thirst trap surface, there's a story worth falling for. Brock didn't come from the machine of Hollywood royalty. He was born and raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, far from the flashing lights and red carpets. He built his path brick by brick, starting in indie queer cinema, where the budgets were low, but the stories were real, raw, unfiltered. And he showed up with everything he had. One of his breakthrough roles was in Testosterone, Volume 1, a gritty, vulnerable short film that didn't just explore queerness, it cracked it wide open. Brock played a gay man navigating intimacy, masculinity, and the kind of self-worth no one teaches you how to claim. It was messy, honest, magnetic, just like him. What makes Brock unforgettable isn't just that he's hot, and let's be honest, he is. It's that he never asks for permission to exist as both sexual and sensitive. In an industry where gay men are often boxed in, either as a joke, a sidekick, or overly sanitized, Brock shows up on screen with sweat, with scars, and with soul. He posts thirst traps unapologetically, shirtless gym selfies, bedroom lighting, leather looks. But right next to those, posts about surviving toxic masculinity, reflections on growing up gay in a straight-coded world. He's curated, yes, but never fake. His presence feels like a rebellion against queer erasure. His style pushes just as many boundaries as his work. From sheer tops to smudged eyeliner, leather harnesses to perfectly tailored tuxes, Brock understands fashion not just as aesthetic, but identity. He doesn't wear clothes, he claims them. He looks like a Calvin Klein model, but acts like a queer indie director who just left therapy and is ready to talk. What really seals the deal? His energy. Whether on camera or online, there's a quiet confidence to Brock. Not loud or cocky, but grounded. Like someone who's done the work. Who knows who he is, and who's ready to take up space doing it. And for a new generation of queer viewers, that matters. A lot. Brock Yurich isn't just someone to thirst after. He's someone to root for. Someone who reminds us that queer men can be complex, hot, yes, but also healing, angry, loving, powerful. Did we just unlock your new queer obsession? Drop a 1 if Brock's your top crush so far. Zayn Phillips, the Greek god of queer TV who's breaking the internet. And a few hearts. If you've ever watched a scene with Zane Phillips and thought, okay, this man was sculpted in a lab, you're not alone. Square jaw, thick brows, piercing stare. He looks like the kind of guy a Greek statue would be jealous of. but there's more going on behind that perfect bone structure than just thirst. Zayn didn't burst onto the scene with tabloid drama or viral controversy. He arrived with talent, presence, and a kind of quiet confidence that makes you lean in and want more. His breakout role? That would be the irresistibly sexy and smug gym bro in Fire Island, a queer rom-com that quickly became a cult favorite. And while the cast was stacked, Zayn was the one who left half the internet gasping and maybe Googling, "Who is this guy?" But here's the twist. His character might have been a stereotype on the surface, ripped, aloof, cocky, but Zayn played him with layers. You could feel the vulnerability just beneath the smirk. That's his real gift, giving you hot and human in one frame. Outside of acting, he's become a full-blown queer icon, without even trying too hard. His Instagram is a mix of cheeky gym selfies, runway-worthy fashion shots, and moments that feel raw and real. He knows exactly how to serve shirtless thirst trap, but he also posts about navigating body image and queer masculinity in a hyper-visual culture. He once wrote that growing up gay in Texas meant constantly filtering himself, performing safety, shrinking softness, straightening his spine just to fit in. But now, he's expanding, softening, owning every curve, flex, and messy feeling that comes with being a queer man in the spotlight. And speaking of spotlight, Zayn knows how to wear it. Whether he's turning heads at red carpet events in silk shirts barely buttoned, or fronting editorials in head-to-toe leather, there's a boldness to his fashion that screams, "This is my body. This is my story. Look at it and see it." What's most crush-worthy, though, is that Zayn doesn't pretend to be untouchable. He's not hiding behind a glam team or PR polish. He talks about imposter syndrome. He reposts memes that make fun of himself. He's real in a way that makes him feel like someone you'd meet at a rooftop party and actually have a conversation with. Zayn Phillips is the kind of queer celebrity we need more of, not just because he's beautiful, he is, but because he's intentional. He uses his face, his frame, his fame, not just to be desired, but to be seen as fully human. So yeah, you can crush, you can thirst, but don't be surprised if you also feel something deeper. Think Zayn's the total package? Drop a 2 if he's your crush from this list. Michael Cimino from teen dream to queer icon. Without skipping a beat, you probably first met Michael Cimino as Victor, the sweet, wide-eyed lead in Hulu's Love, Victor, a high school boy figuring out love, life, and his identity. And while the show itself quickly became a staple for queer Gen Z, what really stood out was the guy at the center of it all, a young actor with a heart on his sleeve kind of honesty and a smile that could stop traffic. But here's the plot twist. Michael wasn't just playing queer. He was quietly becoming a queer icon in real life. With zero theatrics, no scandals, no press-hungry moments. Just presence. The kind that slowly, consistently makes you fall for someone without even realizing it. At the start of his career, Michael identified as straight. But as his platform grew, so did his openness. In 2022, he came out as bisexual. Not with a press conference or big announcement, but in the same soft, intentional way he carries himself. Genuine, calm, and completely in control of his narrative. And fans? They embraced him hard. What makes Michael such a powerful crush, beyond the tousled hair, deep voice, and puppy dog energy, is that he brings emotional intelligence to the table. He talks openly about mental health, masculinity, and being vulnerable as a man of color in an industry that loves to label and limit. He's the kind of star who'll post a thirst trap in one slide and then a poem about grief in the next. And that contrast? It's not confusing. It's compelling. It makes you want to know more. And while some celebs lean into performance, Michael's appeal is how unperformative he feels. There's a rawness to him, like he's still figuring it all out, just like the rest of us. But instead of hiding that uncertainty, he shares it. And that kind of emotional availability? Hot, very hot. He also continues to pick roles that challenge the status quo. He's not boxed into being the cute guy, though let's be honest, he is the cute guy. But he's also someone who makes space for complexity. Queer characters who aren't just about sexuality, but about pain, culture, friendship, and joy. Stylistically, he blends boy-next-door charm with just enough edge. Whether he's in oversized hoodies or silk shirts, there's always a little softness, a little story behind the look. His energy is cozy, not cocky. More, you'll cry watching his story than you'll swipe for his abs. And that's what makes him unforgettable. Michael Cimino doesn't shout to get your attention. He whispers. And you listen. Because there's something about his quiet confidence that makes you feel safe, seen, and maybe even a little hopeful. Are you crushing on Michael's heart as much as his face? Drop a 3 if he's your favorite so far. Charlie Carver, the quiet force who came out, spoke up, and stole our hearts. There's something magnetic about Charlie Carver. And it's not just his boyish good looks, sculpted cheekbones, or those intense eyes that somehow feel like they're reading you. It's his energy. Calm, strong, unapologetically queer. The kind of crush that sneaks up on you slowly, then never leaves. Many people first discovered Charlie on Desperate Housewives, playing one half of the handsome, mischievous Scavo twins. Back then, he was the definition of all-American teen heartthrob. Charming, athletic, and clean-cut. But behind the scenes, Charlie was wrestling with a truth he hadn't shared yet. A truth that would eventually become one of his greatest strengths. In 2016, Charlie came out publicly as gay, not through a headline-grabbing interview, but with a deeply personal Instagram post. He wrote, "Being different makes you special. Be who you needed when you were younger." It was soft, brave, and it resonated. Fans from all over the world, especially young queer boys, saw that post and felt a little less alone. Since then, Charlie hasn't just been the actor who came out. He's become a voice, a presence. Someone who uses his platform to talk about authenticity, self-love, and the weird, wonderful chaos of growing up queer in a world that often demands silence. And yes, he's still hot. That sweet smile, still here. That muscle-packed frame, even more defined now. But what really makes Charlie crush-worthy is his vulnerability. Whether he's starring in The Boys in the Band, Teen Wolf, or Ratched, he brings something deeper to every role. A kind of raw, lived-in emotional truth that only comes from someone who's done the work to understand himself. He's the guy who could wear a basic t-shirt and make it fashion. Who posts poetry in his captions? Who looks like he belongs on a Calvin Klein billboard but chooses to speak at mental health panels instead? His masculinity is thoughtful, gentle, and evolved. And that's rare in Hollywood. Charlie also radiates this quiet confidence that doesn't need to be loud. He's not chasing virality or trend cycles. He's just living, intentionally, honestly, and beautifully queer. And that authenticity, that's what makes you crush hard. He reminds us that being out doesn't have to mean being outrageous. That softness can be powerful. That coming out is not a one-time moment. It's a lifelong choice to be real in every room you walk into. Charlie Carver isn't just a handsome face on screen. He's a mirror, reflecting the parts of us that want to be brave, to be soft, and to be seen. Has Charlie been your low-key crush all along? Drop a 4 if he's climbing up your list. Tommy Dorfman, the trans femme star, who's turning heads and breaking every rule in Hollywood. If there's one person who knows how to walk into a room and completely own it, it's Tommy Dorfman. Whether she's gliding down a red carpet in custom Balenciaga or dropping raw truths about identity on social media, Tommy doesn't ask for space. She takes it. And we are so here for it. You might recognize her from 13 Reasons Why, where she first appeared on screens as Ryan Shaver. Snarky, stylish, and unforgettable. But off-screen, Tommy was on her own journey, one far more powerful than any scripted storyline. In 2021, she came out publicly as a trans femme and has since become one of the most compelling queer voices in Hollywood. What makes Tommy crush-worthy isn't just the killer jawline or the editorial-worthy selfies, though, let's be honest, those help. It's her fearlessness. She doesn't just embrace her truth, she wraps it in mesh, tulle, leather, and eyeliner, then walks it straight into the spotlight. Her fashion sense is unapologetic and genre-bending. Think thigh-high boots with oversized blazers or slinky slip dresses paired with shaved brows and killer heels. She plays with gender like it's an art form, and she is the canvas. Every look feels like a statement. I define me, not you. But beyond the aesthetic, Tommy brings real emotional depth. She's been open about her transition, mental health, the pressures of being in the public eye while redefining your identity, and the complicated layers of queer fame. Her interviews don't feel curated. They feel necessary. And that vulnerability, that's what pulls you in. She doesn't perform femininity for approval. She lives it on her terms. Chaotic, soft, sharp, luxurious. She's glam one day, raw the next. That range? It's magnetic. You don't just watch Tommy, you feel her. What's also beautiful is how she's reclaimed her narrative. For so long, trans women, especially in entertainment, were cast aside, silenced, or tokenized. Tommy flipped the script. She didn't wait for permission. She stepped into herself, and the world had no choice but to catch up. And she's not slowing down. From modeling campaigns to acting roles that actually reflect who she is, to directing and storytelling through a trans femme lens, Tommy's redefining what visibility can look like. She's not just included in Hollywood now, she's becoming the blueprint. She's proof that beauty doesn't follow rules, that femininity isn't one size fits all, that queerness can be powerful, provocative, and pretty damn iconic. Tommy Dorfman is not your traditional crush. She's a revolution you fall in love with one post, one quote, one unforgettable look at a time. Did Tommy just become your unexpected fave? Drop a 5 if she owned this list for you. So, how do you even choose just one? These 5 stars aren't just crush-worthy. They're rewriting what queer desire looks like in 2025. Sexy? Absolutely. But also smart, bold, soft, complex, and real. Each of them is showing up in a world that told them not to, and they're doing it with power and style. Whether you're here for the looks, the stories, or the queer feels, you're part of this moment too. Tell us, who's your number 1? Drop a 1 to 5 in the comments, and if we missed your fave, let us know who should be in the next one. Hit like, subscribe, and share this with your queer crew. We've got more stories and more stars coming your way.